Who here was a broke kid in their late 2000s? Yeah, in the late 2000s, in the 2010s even. Yeah, even the late 2010s, when the original Xbox 360 came out. Who here was a broke kid when the Xbox 360 came out? Because if you are, then you've definitely heard of this game, AirMech Arena, right? AirMech, was definitely a childhood game that I played when I was about 10, when I was about 9, ish. When I got my first ever console, the Xbox 360. As a broke Asian weeb, not a weeb. I wasn't a weeb back then, but as a broke Asian who could not ask their parents for video games, I had very limited options. You either had to play the free-to-play games, or you had to play those demos. Anybody know those demos? My Xbox came with the Kinect, so I would also play some of those Kinect free-to-play games. Oh my god. Those were the times. Those late 2010s, those were the times. Now in the year 2022, we live in a dog shit society, but that's besides the point. AirMech Arena. This was a game that was immaculate. So beautiful. It was polished. It was a real-time strategy game about air mechs, obviously, where you had like 2 bases, and you would like make troops. You would conquer outposts. You would gather territory, and you would dominate the entire field, take all the crucial positions of a map. You would infiltrate outposts, enemy outposts, and you send in your little troops, your 4 infantry, to capture an outpost. Those were the
times, man. Those were the times.
And if you would dominate the entire map except for the opponent's home base, you would get this domination thing where if the opponent couldn't take back an outpost in about, I would say about 60 seconds. I forgot.
Their health from their home base would deplete, and it was like, oof.
Those were the times. Now, some of you may be thinking, Austin, what you're describing is just Halo Wars. Yeah, I know. But the thing was, I didn't have money to get Halo Wars, so I got this game instead. This game was basically just Halo Wars knockoff, but it was so good. It was so good. Oh, honestly, Saucer was the best main for sure, best main. But I don't think anybody, if you actually remember what the mechs were. You had like Neo, you had Striker, you had fucking Angel. I never used Angel because back then I wasn't a little pussy, but that was besides the point, right? You had like Helix and all that. Pretty much this was just a Halo Wars knockoff that was for free, and you didn't even need Xbox Live back then. It was amazing. It was such a good game, highly would recommend. That is, if the game still existed. Unfortunately, 2 years ago, I think in 2020, the AirMech Arena servers were finally shut down by Ubisoft. I know this was so sad. I'm gonna cry, but it just happened. It just happened. It was the most miserable thing. When I found this out, I literally cried. I literally pissed my pants. I went to the park and I pissed like a fountain. It was so sad. It was so sad. The cops, they just pulled up and they were like, "Sir, what the fuck are you doing?" And I was like, And then I had to go to to Arkham Asylum, where I was detained there with the Joker. But that's another time for that. That's another story time potential. Okay, about how I was in Arkham Asylum for. okay, that joke was bad. That joke was pretty bad, but it was pretty funny. But anyway, I was pretty sad. But a couple months ago, I remembered that this game existed again after my long trip to Arkham Asylum. And apparently, there's actually
a reboot?
for PC, AirMech Strike. And so I played the game, and I gotta say, I definitely got a lot of nostalgia. It was very awesome, very epic. But I will have to say this very much. I will say this. The UI in that game was so absolute dog shit. I remember AirMech Arena was good. The UI was epic, right? It was actually muy bien, no. Muy bien, no. They fucked up you know, the UI for like everything, like the troop spawning and the heroes, even the fucking controls, like the map layout was just so absolute dog shit. But you know, other than that, you know, the game it definitely brought so much nostalgia to me. I didn't play with any other people though. You know, I didn't go on, you know, fight other players. You know, I didn't want to. You know, I wanted to preserve the nostalgia purposes because back then I only played with the AI because I didn't have Xbox Live. So you know what? I would say about 5 years later, 6 years later, you know, I come back in here hot, you know, and I just play with the AI, and honestly, it was pretty fun. Definitely very fun. I wish they would add more levels with the AI, but you know what? I guess playing with yourself is not awesome. Unless it's you know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna. You know what? We're not gonna. Yeah, I have an addiction, but you know what? That's besides the point. AirMech Strike. You know, after I was done playing for about an hour, about 2 hours, you know what I mean? I played, and I gotta say, man, that game is easy. Either AirMech Arena was too hard for me when I was 11, you know what I mean? Like the AI was either too strong, or I was a retard back then. Because when I came back here in 2022, I was playing as the saucer, you know, blasting, you know, enemy tanks and just enemy longhorns, just grabbing that shit, you know, turning that red to blue. Oh yeah, the AI was absolute dog shit, absolute dog shit. I don't know what they did to my boy, you know what I mean? To my boy, what was his name, Buck or something? The guy that played as Helix. I don't know. The point was, you know, I don't know, man. I mean, nostalgia carried this game too hard because I came back to it and it's a decent game for sure, but it definitely did not feel like what it used to. It definitely didn't feel like that. It definitely did not feel, you know, it definitely did not feel epic as it used to. It definitely felt very nostalgic though, but I gotta say, it doesn't feel good, man. It doesn't feel good. The reboot does not live up to the original. And I think it should stay that way. The original was something that was memorable in our hearts. You know, for those of you who knew, you knew, right? Anybody who was broke and their parents didn't buy you video games, that was one of the best free-to-play games ever. And you know, 2 years later, you know, the reboot was nice, but it was you know, it definitely will never live up to the original. Rest in peace, AirMech Arena. And hopefully, you know, hopefully your successor will actually be good. It's alright. You know, it's alright. I'm not saying it's bad or anything. It's alright, but it definitely did not live up to the original. And you know, it's Austin, and you know, it's Austin, and we're going to see you guys next time. Alright? Okay. Bye. Bye.